مرحبا بكم مجددا أعزائي طلاب وطالبات دبلوم التعليم العام. وصلنا إلى مادة اللغة الإنجليزية بفرع المهارات، ومعنا الأستاذة أمل بن سالم الحنشي معلمة أولى لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية. أهلا وسهلا بك أستاذة.
أهلا.
الله يعطيك العافية والصحة. طبعا نحن متواصلون مع الطلبة من خلال سواء الإنجليزية الأساسية أو أيضا مادة اللغة الإنجليزية المهارات. فما هي يعني موضوع درس اليوم إن شاء الله؟
Hello, grade 12. I hope that you are doing well with your studying. Today, inshallah, we are going to cover the reporting verbs and the reported speech. Okay. Our objectives for the lesson today is, the first objective is to practice using different reporting verbs. And the second objective is to practice using reported speech. Okay. First, let's see, what do we mean by reporting verbs? In English grammar, a reporting verb is a verb such as say, tell, believe, reply, respond, or ask. These verbs are used to indicate the discourse. What do we mean by discourse? Discourse is our speech. To indicate the discourse is being quoted or paraphrased. So somebody else is quoting our speech and paraphrase it. It's also called a communication verb. So simply they are used to report what someone said. Let's see the examples together. Okay, look at this picture. The president congratulated her on her achievements. So if she is saying this sentence, she will say, the president is congratulating me on my achievements. But now here someone else is reported this sentence and he said the president congratulated, and as you see the verb is past tense. Congratulated her on her achievements. Now look at the second sentence together. The teacher ordered the boys to go inside. So if she is saying this sentence to her students, immediately she will say to the boys, go inside, as a direct speech. But now someone else is reporting her action. So the sentence will be the teacher ordered, and it is in the past tense, the boys to go inside. Okay. Now let's move to the next thing here. Reporting verbs can be followed by many things. Let's take the first one as an example. It can be followed by to plus infinitive. What do we mean by infinitive? Infinitive means the base form. What do we mean by the base form? It's the form without s, without ed, without ing. It's base form. فعل صحيح. Let's see the verbs here. We have agree, decide, offer, promise, refuse, and threaten. Let's see the first example. He refused to take his coat off. Look at the structure of the sentence. So he is the subject as usual. English sentence starts by subject. And here is the verb. He refused. And what kind of verb is this? It is past tense verb. He refused. And here we have to, as the rule said, plus the infinitive, to take. his coat off. Let's try to figure out the second sentence here. As usual, it started by subject, so they is the subject in this sentence. They agreed, which is the verb. And here again, we have to plus infinitive. As you see, they agreed to meet on Friday. So this is the infinitive. Hope it's clear. Now let's move to the second condition here. We have object plus to infinitive. Look at the verb together. We have advise, encourage, invite, remind, and warn. Let's see the first example. Tom, which is the subject, advised, which is the verb, me to go home early. So subject, verb, something else is needed here. We need an object. Where is the object? This is the object. Me is the object. The object plus what? Plus to go. What is to go? It is the infinitive. So the sentence altogether is, Tom advised me to go home early. Let's try to figure out the second sentence together. We have, she reminded me to telephone my mother. So she is the subject, reminded is the verb, and here we have the object. Where is the object? Me is the object. Plus what? We said here, object plus to infinitive. So she reminded me to telephone. To telephone is the infinitive. My mother, the complement of the sentence. Okay, so far we discussed to plus infinitive. We discussed object plus to infinitive. Now we are moving to the gerund. What do we mean by gerund? Gerund is the verb plus ing. Let's see some examples here. We have the verb deny, recommended, suggest, propose, and admit. Okay, look at the example together. She recommended taking the bus. So she is the subject here. Recommended is the verb, and as I said, it's past tense. Plus what now here? Plus gerund, verb with ing, which is taking the bus. Now look at the second sentence. He suggested meeting a little earlier. So he is the subject. Suggested is the verb. And as you see, it is past tense verb. Plus what? Plus the gerund. What do we mean by gerund? We said it's the verb with ing. So he suggested meeting a little earlier. Okay? Now we can move to another condition here. We have preposition plus gerund. What do we mean by preposition? I guess you know the prepositions by now. For example, we have on, we have of, we have to. All of these are called prepositions. Let's see the verbs together. we have apologize and we have insist. Okay, look at the first example. They apologized for not coming. So they is the subject. Apologize is the verb. And what kind of verb? It is past tense. Now let's go back to the rule. It said that the verb with preposition and gerund. So where is the preposition in this sentence? It is here. This is preposition. For. Not coming. And not coming is, or coming is the gerund. And we said gerund is verb with ing. Okay, let's see the second example together. He, and as usual, English sentence starts with subject. So here we have S for subject. Plus insisted, which is the verb. And what kind of verb is here? It is past tense verb. Insisted on having dinner. So on is the preposition. And having here is the gerund. He insisted on having dinner. On is the preposition and having is the gerund. Okay, now we can move to another condition. We have the object plus the preposition. Let's see the verbs together. We have accuse, blame, criticize, praise, forgive, thank, and congratulate. Okay, look at the first example. He accused me of taking the money. So he is the subject here, plus accused, which is the verb. And what kind of verb is here? We have past tense. Accused me. Me is the object. So English sentence normally consists of subject, verb, and object. Me is the object. What about of? Of is the preposition. Taking the money is the complement of the sentence. So here we have he accused me, which is the object, plus of, which is the preposition. He accused me of taking the money. Let's try to analyze the second sentence together. We have they, which is the subject, plus verb. And what kind of verb is here? We have past tense. He congratulated me, and me is the object. And on is the preposition. So he congratulated me on passing all my exams. Okay, let's try to do the last sentence here. We have she thanked her for being loyal. So the sentence starts with subject, which is she, plus thanked, which is the verb. Her, what do we call her? What is the position of her here? It is an object. So she thanked her for being loyal, and for is the preposition. So she thanked her, which is the object, for, which is the preposition, being loyal. Okay, we have another condition here. After object and preposition, we can try to find the answers for this task. This task is in page 143 in your student's book. Okay. Choose the best reporting verb to go in each sentence. Let's check the verbs together first. We have encouraged, agreed, recommended, denied. I want you to try to put these verbs in the correct place in these sentences. Okay, let's try to do the first one together. Paul dash reading a new novel. What do you think? Paul encouraged or agreed or recommended or denied? So it makes more sense to say Paul recommended. Okay, the second sentence is the teacher dash her pupils to do the project. So the teacher, what will you choose? We have denied, we have agreed, and we have encouraged. So it makes more sense to choose encouraged her pupils to do the project. Number 3, I dash to help Susan to move house. What do we have left? We have agreed and we have denied. So the right answer is I agreed. The last sentence here, the boys dash breaking the window with their ball. Of course, they don't want to tell the truth. So the boys, we have denied breaking the window with their ball. Okay, now we have another activity. It's in the same page, page 143. You need to choose the correct answer, but this time this is testing your preposition as well. Okay, the first sentence, she convinced and dash it. What are you going to choose? Convinced him doing, him of doing, him to do. So the appropriate answer is she convinced him to do. So normally we have the preposition to comes with the verb convinced, to convince something to do something. Then we have he offered dash there with me. So he offered to go or going or go. Normally we say he offered to do something. So he offered to go. Okay. The boy admitted dash the cake. So the boy admitted take or taking or to take. Normally we say the boy admitted taking the cake. Number 4, my teacher criticized, and as you see, all the verbs are in the past tense. My teacher criticized dash it. So what is the preposition? The preposition that goes with the verb criticized. So my teacher criticized me for doing, or me doing, or me to do. So she criticized me for doing. Okay. Hope it's clear for everyone. Now we can move to task number 10 in your book in page 103. these sentences are direct speech. I want you to change them to reported speech. For example, well done for passing your exam. So how can we change this sentence to be or to make it reported sentence? So he or she, we can imagine the subject, he congratulated, and as you see, the verb should be in the past. You need to change the verb. He congratulated. Instead of for, you need to use me. He congratulated me on passing my exam. So he congratulated me on passing my exam. So you need to change the pronouns as well. And we are going to come across the types of changes in details later on also. Can you open the window? Let's assume that we have a subject here. He asked me to open the window. Then we have, if I were you, I'd accept the job. Again, you need to say he. Instead of advise, you need to turn the verb into past tense. So he advised me to accept the job. Number 4, I let you know tomorrow, and we have the verb promise. So again, how can we change it to reported speech? So he or she or they, whatever, he promised to let me know tomorrow. So you need to change the pronoun as well. Instead of you are talking about yourself. So he promised to let me know. Okay. Now let's move to the next sentence. You would get there more quickly if you took the train. So let's try to do this sentence together. So they, or he or she, the verb should be in the past. So they recommended taking the train. Okay. So they recommended, and as you see, I've used the gerund verb with recommended. They recommended taking the train. Now, let's do the next sentence. I don't think you really care, do you? And the verb is accuse. So we need to shift the verb to the past tense and say he or she, whatever subject do you want to use, he accused me of not caring. So as you see, I changed the pronoun to me of not caring. And you need to notice that some verbs or some prepositions normally come with certain verbs, like he accused of something, we normally say. Then we have the verb threaten. We need to change it to the past tense and say he threatened he threatened to leave without me if I was late. Okay, as you see, the verb is past tense verb. They shouldn't have made the test so difficult, and the supposed verb here is criticized. Okay, so you are going to say they criticized them okay, for making the test so difficult. Okay, let's see another activity here in page 143. It's to test your preposition. So you have for, of, on, or into, on, sorry. So there are three, for, of, on. And you need to use these prepositions in the three sentences here. So, for example, we have the first one, she congratulated me. What is the preposition that comes with the verb congratulated? Is it for, or of, or on? Normally we say, she congratulated me on my success. The second sentence is, he accused me. Again, you have accused. So what is the verb that normally comes with accused? What is the preposition that comes with accused? He accused me of sleeping too much. And the last sentence, they blamed me. The only one that is left here, they blamed me for what had happened. These are the prepositions. Now, I guess we have time to discuss the reported speech. Earlier we discussed the reporting verbs, but this time it's the whole speech. What do we mean by reported speech? Okay, when do we use it? Reported speech is used to tell what someone said. You are reporting what someone said. For example, if the direct speech says, we are going to the cinema this afternoon, and you want to report this sentence to someone else, what can you say? So Tom said that they were going to the cinema that afternoon. And as you see, you noticed some changes. So instead of present here, you shifted to the past tense. So they were going to the cinema, and you need as well to change the determiner this to that. We will discuss the types of changes in more details. Okay, what are the types of changes that may occur while you are shifting the sentence from direct speech to reported speech? We need to change the verb tense. We need to change the time and the place, and these are called adverbial expressions. And we need also to change the pronouns. Let's see more examples to make it clear. Okay. Look at this table. We have direct speech and we have indirect speech. If it is present simple, if the sentence is in this tense, present simple tense, for example, She said it's cold. If you want to change it to indirect speech or to reported speech, they are the same meaning. Different terms for the same meaning. We can say indirect speech or reported speech. If you want to shift it to indirect speech, you need to change the verb tense. So instead of using present, it's cold, you need to say it was cold. She said it was cold. So instead of is, you need to change it to was. Then we have present continuous. If it is present continuous, it will be continuous as well, but you need to change the tense. So instead of present, you need to shift it to past. Let's see the sentence together. She said, I'm teaching English online. So this is present continuous. You need to shift it to past continuous by saying was teaching. I cannot say I'm teaching. She was teaching English online. To shift it to the past tense. Then we have the present perfect tense. The present perfect normally have the subject plus verb to have plus the past participle. For example, I have been on the web since 1999. So you need to shift the tense from present perfect to past perfect. You need to change have to had. So she said she had been on the web since 1999. Okay, we have other changes with other verb tense. If it is past simple tense, you need to change it to past perfect. Let's see the example. She said, I taught online yesterday. So this is past simple. I taught online yesterday. If you want to change it to the past perfect, it will be she said she had taught. So you need to use had plus past participle. The past continuous tense, she said, I was teaching earlier. As you see, this is past tense. Continuous mean verb with ing. I was teaching earlier. You need to change it to be past perfect continuous by saying she said she had been teaching earlier. And lucky you, if it is past perfect, you have nothing to do. So you keep it the same. There is no change. For example, the lesson had already started when he arrived. It will be the same if you are reporting the sentence. You don't have to change the tense. What about the models? Do we need to change the models? Yes, if it is can, you need to use the past tense, and the past tense is could. If it is will, you need to use would. And if it is might, you don't need to change anything. Okay, we have also time and place changes. It's also important to take care of the time and the place while you are changing the sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. It's often necessary to make time and place changes in relation to tense changes. For example, here in the direct speech, we normally say now, but in the reported speech, you will change it to then. If it is today, you will change it to that day. If it is tonight, it will be that night. Of course, if it is yesterday, it will be the day before. And for tomorrow, you can say the following day or the next day. For the next day or week, you can also say the following day or the following week or the following year. It depends on the sentence. Okay. Now let's see the place expressions. We have the direct speech here, and we have the reported speech. In the direct speech, we have here, for example, you need to turn it to there. Another example here, we have this as a determiner. You need to change it to that. We have these. We need to change it to those. Okay, let's see the direct speech here. We have John said, I did this exercise last night. As you see, we have past tense, and we have this exercise last night, which is time phrase here. So we need to change it now to indirect speech. How can you change it to indirect speech? You will keep the same subject. So John said, you can add that he had done that exercise. So had done is past perfect tense because this is past simple. You need to change it to past perfect. Past perfect. How can we change it to past perfect? We have he, which is the subject, and we have verb to have. So you are going to choose had because it is past tense, plus what is the past participle from the verb did? The past participle from the verb did is done, and you need to change the determiner here. Instead of this, you need to say that exercise. Okay, and as you noticed here, we have last night. How can I change this time? So I need to say the previous night. So in this example, I've done changes. What are these changes? I've changed the past verb into past perfect verb. And I've changed the determiner, this, into that. And I've changed the time, which was last night here, to the previous night. Okay. Do we need to change the pronouns as well? Yes, it depends on the view of the reporter. So pronouns change or not depending on the view of the reporter. What do we mean by that? So if the direct speech here, we have I in the direct speech, you are going to change it to he or she. Okay? If in the direct speech I have me, you are going to change it to him, her. And if we have my in the direct speech, you are going to change it to his or her. What about we in the direct speech? You need to change it to they. And what about us? You need to change it to them. And we have ours. We can change it to there. Let's see the example together so it will be more clear. In the direct speech sentence, for example, here we have John said, okay? I'm coming. What kind of tense is this? I'm coming. So this is present continuous. It is present continuous tense. I am coming. If you want to change it to indirect speech, you need to say, John said that he was coming. So what did I change in this sentence? I've changed the pronoun here, which is I, into he. So we have he here, and I've changed the present tense from I am to was. As you see, was plus what? The continuous verb with ing, you don't have to change it. It will be the same. So verb with ing, coming. What did I change then? I've changed the pronoun from I to he, as I said in the table, from I to he. And I've changed the verb tense from past tense, from present tense to past tense, past continuous tense. So he was coming, we can say, or she was coming. It depends on the subject. Okay, so what are the types of changes that I need to focus on? We said earlier verb tenses. So you need to be careful with the verb tense. And what are the verb tense? We said if it is present simple, it will be shifted to past simple. If it is present continuous, it will be shifted to past continuous. And if it is present perfect, it will be shifted to past perfect. And if it is past simple here, you need to shift it to past perfect. If it is past continuous, you need to shift it to past perfect continuous. And as I said, if it is past perfect, you don't have to do any other changes. And be careful with the models. Can will be shifted to could, will be shifted to would, and might you don't have to changes. So first things we need to take care of in the changes, the verb tense. The second thing is the time and the place. Don't forget, if it is now, you need to shift it to then. If it is today, you need to shift it to that day. And if it is tonight, you need to shift it to that night. If it is yesterday, it will be the day before. And if it is tomorrow, you can say the following day or the following year or the following week. It depends on the sentence that you have got. If it is next day, it will be as the following day or the following week. It depends on the sentence. And as I said, you need also to change the pronouns. So I will be shifted to he or she. Me will be shifted to him or her. My will be shifted to his or her. And then we have we will be shifted to they, and us will be shifted to them and ours will be shifted to there. And we already clarified this example together. So now let's move to the practice time. So reported speech, we have time to practice. Look at the images that will appear later on in the slides, and I'd like you to change what the characters say into the reported speech. What are the things that you need to take care of? Take care in consideration all the changes that must occur. And what are the changes? I repeated them twice. Verbs, so you need to take care of the verb tense. You need to take care of the pronouns and the expression of time, as well as the place. Okay, so let's see the sentences together. Look at the reported speech here. Look at the direct speech first. She said, "My mother gives me noodles regularly." So this is the direct sentence, direct speech. How can we turn it to reported speech? We need to take care of the verb tense and the pronouns. So the sentence will be, the girl said, "Her mother," I've changed my into her. The girl said, "Her mother gave her noodles regularly." So what did I change as well? I've changed the verb. Instead of saying gives in the present tense, I shifted to the past tense. So the girl said her mother gave her noodles regularly. You need to take care of the verb. This is present in the direct speech, but in the reported speech, I've changed it into past. So the girl said her mother gave her noodles regularly. Okay? Now we can move to the next example. This is the direct sentence. My book is being very interesting. Have some time and try to think, how can we change this direct sentence into reported speech? My book is being very interesting. As we said, we need to focus on the verb tense and the pronouns. So the sentence will be, the woman said her book was being very interesting. So instead of is, I shifted from present to past. Okay, so her book was being very interesting. Then we have, I was so tired, I passed out on the middle of the street. The sentence will be, the man said, because this is past tense, you need to change it to past perfect. So the man said he had been so tired, he passed out on the middle of the street. And the last sentence that we have got here, I will catch a fish today. As I said, this is the modal verb and you need to change will into would. So the sentence will be, the girl said she would catch a fish. Instead of today, you need to say that day. And here is the end. Okay, he is telling me that time is up.
شكرا جزيلا لك أستاذة أمل بن سالم الحنشية، معلم أول مادة لغة إنجليزية. شكرا جزيلا لك.
عفوا أستاذ.